is kind of, again, of a curveball. Now, again, I can tell you that this is a map where you're going to see Curry probably playing the Viper. This is also a map where they actually have Skadoodle playing some Rays instead of Breach. So that could be like another thing to keep an eye out for them composition-wise. Obviously, against Spiders, pretty much, you know, locking up the Jet. That means Automatic probably will be playing the Omen. And then Daze, obviously, you know, still very much a big-time Sova main. So, yeah, that's kind of what I expect from their composition. And again, for FaZe, it's one of those things where, again, they've only played Icebox once. So the only comp I've seen them play is, you know, a comp where they have the Reyna, they have the Sova, they have their Omen, Killjoy, and Jet. So I assume they'll do something similar. Okay, so they will go Raze for Corey, so no Reyna. But other than that, it's about what you'd expect. Marv will pick up the Sage, which means Omen will get picked up by ZachaREEE. So a little bit of a different comp for them for Icebox, but again, they only had one official on it, so there wasn't like a pattern to really notice. You know what I mean? But yeah,
it's interesting that both of them this time around are opting out of the traditional Sentinel, and it is just going to be the Sage in that Sentinel role. So they're not going to have the turrets, the trap wires, the cyber cages, things. The lockdown, I think, more importantly on this map, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if that's just because, like, they have, for the T1 side of things, Curry is normally their Sentinel player on Cypher, but on this map, he's playing the Viper a lot of the time, so I don't know if that's part of it. Maybe he is, again, very fresh to Valorant. I think he's only been on the team for a few weeks, so maybe he hasn't had, like, a lot of time to experiment with playing Killjoy and things of that nature, so that could be very much a part of it from his side of things. And then for the FaZe side of things, yeah, they just don't have that many. They have no officials really nice except for one game, so they probably don't have a whole lot of, you know, data to go off of to know, you know, maybe what they want to do. But I guess this is the comp they've been using in practice they feel good with, and so they're going to keep, you know, Corey and babybay on the duelist. They're going to keep Rawkus in that more supportive position. They're going to have ZachaREEE take up smoke so Marv can play Sage, and that's what they're rolling with.
Revealing area.
That is what they're rolling with as the recon bolt goes through, taken down almost immediately, and telling that Summer playing over towards A, but can't get much more off the back end of that. 3 members stacked up nicely in the back of this side. All 5 actually still hovering over towards this side, so no real control towards mid, nothing over towards B or T1 on the attack. And then I wanted to mention, I think this is a meta that I think plays into the hands of FaZe, and it's why they find themselves, you know, in the top 10, top 8 in multiple occasions. Is because there are a lot of changes, and so when you're trying to figure things out as a team, there isn't a whole lot of space that FaZe allows you to do that because of the way they play.
I do have to point this out, by the way. This is only the second time that Marved has ever played Sage in an official match setting, and this is only the second time ZachaREEE has played an Omen in an official match setting. So do take note of that. That is a pretty drastic change for both of them role-wise.
Changes being made on both fronts, players or roles.
30 seconds left.
It looks like the hit to come through. 30 seconds left on the clock. T1 still trying to inch their way in. Finally, the wall's going to go through, and it might actually, no, just barely not going to get cracked there. Nobody to help babybay out, but he's finding kills. They do break it down. The spike on the ground on top of it all, and they're running out of time. They waited so long to push onto the site, and now it's all starting to fall apart here. FaZe, they've got the answer. What looks like the answer here in the pistol round is all up to Curry. Marv to sit him down, and T1, I don't know if that was the plan or they just didn't know what to do, but FaZe read it perfectly.
Yeah, T1 is one of those teams that is very much, you know, dedicated to playing that slower, more default style of Valorant. Like, they like to play more towards the mid to late round. They can mix in some faster pace executes. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they're one-dimensional, but their bread and butter, their foundation, so to speak, is very much playing that slower style. Definitely one of the teams that kind of favored it. Like Gen G back in the day was also very similar in that regard until they kind of started being a little bit more dynamic lately. They're just kind of one of those teams, right? And that can sometimes haunt you if things start to go wrong in the late round. And you're out of time to kind of work your way through it. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to them there on that pistol round. As we are going to see FaZe, of course, spot up. Marv getting aggressive here at tube. He's all the way towards the attacking spawn now. Getting deep in enemy territory.
ZachaREEE just trying to keep him back here. Not able to escape. Did Bolt hit him? I think the bolt hit ZachaREEE. That's why he was pulsed all 3 times. lane coming on through. Kill does get found by Curry, and they will have a weapon for themselves.
Nice
The
pickup.
1v1 across the board, it's not all that bad. Unfortunately, I think for the next couple of moments, though, babybay finds a nice headshot, dashes away to safety, and the decay doesn't matter any longer. I was going to say, Spider had to get healed earlier, so I don't think there's... Okay, there's the heal. Finally off cooldown now.
Interesting.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird sacrificial kind of push from him, just trying to be that aggressive lurker on the A side. I mean, again, there wasn't a whole lot to work with for T1. They kind of were already getting whittled down, so it's like they kind of had to make an information play somewhere, but he gets caught. But Automatic Company still trying to collapse on this B site, and Automatic almost got it done. Skadoodle will actually clean up there. Unfortunately for him, the spike is out of reach, and the clock is really running low. He's trying to make his way over towards it now, but again, with time so low, I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. He does get the kill on the Corey, though. He picks up a Spectre. Again, will he know that he's being flanked from long B is kind of the problem. He's trying to look for the fight instead of the plant, and yeah, babybay will sneak in. So, unfortunate. Nice try for Skadoodle, but just didn't really have the time to play with.
Yeah, almost coming through with the heroics there in that round. Just a classic to his name. But again, T1 just running low on the clock. They didn't have a whole lot going for him, a whole lot of time going for him, and Skadoodle just had too much to peek. Now we finally see the rifles coming through, and it's an interesting one because of the damage they did to FaZe, the buy kind of hurts for this squad.
Yeah, you definitely make a good point there. Gonna give FaZe a chance to really start putting rounds on the board. Once again, the wall goes down with the drone to try to get some long B control for the T1 side of things. They'll have their Viper kind of sit back and watch over on A side as well with Spider. It's interesting to see Spider being used in this way with a Jet. Like, you feel like a lot of times Jet's kind of used in this, you know, aggressive play style to be like the main kind of guy to, you know, entry to site. And so to have Spider play an aggro lurk with Jet is kind of odd, but he's always been kind of known to be an aggro lurker with like Omen and stuff like that in the past, right? So interesting, but hold the phone because babybay is just lighting up the kill feed with the daggers here at Long B.
And this was their round to lose with just Sheriffs a really handcuffed buy for FaZe, but T1 get punished by the daggers of babybay as they look to push up towards B. The spike now in hand of Automatic. They're going to keep the same approach. Sheriff shots go wide, but kill traded right back. T1 down to their last. And it's Spider, the player that was lurking all the way over towards A. Now has to not only creep on up and grab the spike, but there's only 30 seconds to do it again, Dust. They're really handcuffing themselves with this clock as Marved finds that last kill. That was a round that T1... I would say 90% should have picked that up.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like FaZe is a tough matchup for T1 because T1 is, again, kind of that more slower pace, like methodical kind of style team, and FaZe is not that. They are the antithesis of that style of play, and so that means they're going to get in your face. They're going to try to disrupt your default. They're going to try to make it uncomfortable for you to roll out your game plan. They're going to make you make a lot of snappy, you know, decision-making in the heat of the moment. And they're used to the chaos, whereas T1, again, their play style is very much opposed to being chaotic. So I'm curious to see how that plays out long term throughout the rest of this series, just kind of keeping those stylistic clashes in mind.
That drone still didn't spot out ZachaREEE here. The Viper wall, the dark cover, all of that stopped him from being peaked, and then he just maneuvered around, and he might have himself a huge round at that. Dazed is going to sit him down, not before taking quite a bit of damage, and Marved is here to try and stop this push any further, but it's looking like a fourth round for FaZe, unless T1 can pull out the heroics with Sheriffs in hand. Here the updraft. Now they know Jet playing up top, but it doesn't matter as Marv finds that kill on today, so they're not even worried about the positioning. Spider who finally gets a kill, but again, what can they do with this? The spike in a horrible position. 40 seconds left on the clock. Curry's able to get another. So now even odds. Spider should be able to creep up and grab himself a weapon here. This can't be the round they win, right? After having full rifles into Sheriffs, then they get Sheriffs themselves and they might pick up a round?
Yeah, they very well could. Time is running a bit low, though. They're going to have to start committing here. They're going to have the Viper wall go down. babybay plays forward of it, though, and gets to pick on the Spider, forcing Curry into a 1v1. He is going to go ahead and drop the spike. Toxin's running low, so that wall is going to drop. He's trying to escape before it does, but babybay able to come through there, catch him in the backside, and he'll get the defuse and keep FaZe flawless on the scoreboard as far as rounds won. Obviously, there's been some dicey rounds, but they have won all of them in one way or another, and so they're building up a nice lead as T1 are kind of struggling to get going here.
And you see a little bit of the flaws in that toxic screen when the opposition has zero respect for it. babybay just pushes right through it to be on the other side. Just you know, it's not that Astra wall that is stopping rounds and making things a bit scarier. It's not a whole lot of punishment, and babybay had himself a solid round at that, and starts things off pretty. This is the exact same way T1 played against Cloud9, where they sent Spider to A.
I don't like it.
Single round, yeah, and it's
that to me that's
readable.
That's a poor utilization of Jet, in my opinion. Like I don't understand using Jet in that fashion. I feel like if you're Spider, you want to unleash him if he's going to be playing Jet and let him be that aggressor. Let him help you trade frag alongside Skadoodle's Raze to fight for map control or to fight for approaches onto the site. It's really odd to see him play a lurk. If he wants to be a lurk type player, that's fine, but why are you a Jet? Like, that's always been kind of a head scratcher for me. And I don't claim to be the end all be all of Valorant knowledge, and I'm sure maybe there's an argument to be made as to why they're doing that. I mean, obviously, Daze is a very smart guy as an in-game leader with such a deep history in Counter-Strike, and he's obviously, had T1 at least on a good run during the first strike, process as far as how they were playing. I liked how they were playing as a team, but yeah, I don't know. It just strikes me as a little bit odd to have him used in that way. Right, I know defensively they'll let him be a dynamic opper and let him be a Jet, you know what I mean? But it's kind of weird how they use him on attack for that. But again, I know that Spider was that aggro alert player for them, but again, he was mostly playing like an Omen or a Phoenix or a Raze or something like that, not a Jet.
And it worked against Cloud9 as a couple of kills pop up on the kill feed. 1-for-1 we go between the two teams, but a nice res there. One still available. We'll see if they can get on over to try and find that res to even the odds. Very, very low HP on Spider, and there it is. Marved picking up Corey. We're back to the 5v5, and back to my thought is it worked against Cloud9 because they were winning fights in other places. Now that they're trying to play through mid or play through B, T1 that is, they're just losing the fights there, and then it's all up to Spider, who is playing that duelist that you would expect to kind of be opening things up as another kill.
He's supposed to be the point of the spear, not, I don't know. Again, to each their own. Maybe they have a game plan around it, but it's certainly not working right now in this match.
Yeah.
As they've been getting kind of pummeled. There's been a couple of close rounds, to be fair, but it seems like they're always playing from behind in the late round, having to come up with some type of heroics to fight their way back into the round. As it looks like they're trying to knock on the door once again in this B side. The Toxin wall will go up. There's still a player they're playing close yellow, and Corey will find one with it. And so they're always staying ahead, and it's just getting worse. I mean, T1 just looked like they're getting bogged down too much. They look a little bit lost, if I'm honest.
And this is not even a phase that I was expecting, right? The thing that I had written down in my notes, and you kind of covered it, where T1, they like to play that slower default style, and FaZe are just going to get in your face and not let that happen. That's not even the case. T1 are playing slow default. They're just walking at FaZe and losing gunfights. It just seems like a really off day for T1, and it's arguably the worst time to do it in your last chance. Granted, there is still the lowers bracket, but this is, this Challengers 3 close qualifiers is your last chance for Masters 1, so somebody needs to come online here, and then they need to start doing it soon.
T1's got to do something different, whether it be a pacing change, whether it be something. They do have Spider with them this time at B early, chasing the drone, so it seems like they are going to look to pick up the pace. FaZe trying to lock up the Hunter's Fury to get a lane for them to work with, trying to get some intel, trying to get some tags. Not going to find too much with it, but they're getting some space all of a sudden here, and they're going to get that wall and spike down.
The wall actually gets shot down, so it stops the plant for a moment. Toxic screen goes down. Curry's able to find that kill on the flanker, and we'll be able to upgrade from the Sheriff to a rifle, but we'll see if that's going to be enough as they still have to get the spike down in the Sage wall. If that's what you were banking on, that's not necessarily the most foolproof strategy. The Viper's Pit, though, does help quite a bit as Curry finds another kill and bogs down this B site and make it a lot more difficult for FaZe to find their way through. And this op not going to get a whole lot of value inside through that pit as Curry goes good for a third. And is it going to take the individual heroics? It looks like it. It's a fourth. They go for the plant again. Finally, the spike to go down. And Curry looking to find the cherry on top. Rawkus finds one. There it is. It's an ace. It's the first round on the board for T1. But what did it take, Dust?
Everything.
My goodness.
I mean, everything, bro. They had the Viper's Pit. They had Scoodle use a showstopper to get some space. I will say that was a nicely composed attack. Like, they did use the drone and Spider's jet to get that initial space, to get the point of the spear flowing in one direction and getting them some control. They put the wall down. Yeah, it gets spammed. They're cut off the plant, but they're able to catch the flank immediately after that, get the man advantage, and then just, again, use their utility and just play that composed style, that coordinated, you know, methodical way of things. And they made it work that round, but they need to do that a lot more. And it seems like this time they're going to make a pivot to A pretty early, and they're going to work together as a 5-man unit. No lurking Spider. It's going to be a full-on attack with the whole squad.
Yeah, but the rotations came through, so not easy to get on. Spider gonna find that one onto Corey. Skadoodle actually able to find a kill as well. Now it looks like T1 are starting to come online as the plant can be faked for just a moment. Automatic gonna get that one down now. Does have that barrier up nice and pretty, so not gonna get shot down just yet. Marv trying to find an angle on the heads, and instead it's Skadoodle. Pick up a kill down to the last two. Man, Curry really got the team fired up. You love to see that. Unfortunately, I cursed him as that op shot comes through and it lands true onto the Viper.
My goodness, Tanner, why have you done that to him?
Yeah, that's immediate caster curse. We both got one on the day.
Yeah, it happens. I have to say I like the adjustment from T1 though. Like, they kind of realized that playing out their default map control style with the Viper using their utility to get long B while they're trying to, you know, let Spider be that aggro lurk to have presence A. They kind of, you know, realized, okay, that's not really working for us. Let's pivot. Let's start just going for more of our set pieces. Let's, you know, unleash Spider a bit to be more of just a point man. You know, have Scoodle on the race just to follow up, get that initial space. Then we can kind of start setting up our utility for, you know, the plant and to cover us and to hold off the retake. And now things are starting to go swimmingly for them these last couple of rounds. Now things are looking a lot better. But will that hold? I guess is the point. Like, we've been seeing babybay getting opening picks left, right, and center throughout the bulk of this half. Despite the fact that Marved and ZachaREEE are playing agents, they've only played, now this is their second time playing those two agents actually, and officials. They're actually still being very productive in what they're supposed to be doing. So it's one of those things where I'm still not quite sure how the rest of this half is going to go.
Looks like T1, I mean, we've seen this play before. We've seen it probably 4 out of the 6 times that FaZe have won the rounds, and it's a slow play over towards B right behind the toxic screen once more. And again, just to kind of hound for Curry, got some value. It was off of I don't think Rawkus had the recon bolt, so the Viper's Pit obviously gets a whole lot more when nobody's getting pinged on the inside, but your Viper only gets so much or enough that the other team, if the other team allows it.
Right.
Now that the information comes through, Hunter's Fury from Rawkus, able to find a kill. Daze trades one back, so both of the Sobas on the board. And
yeah, the thing is, we're able to see FaZe have a big rotation because their Raze has pushed all the way through A side, and he's trying to flank, but you can see Curry's like, I'm not letting you flank, Brood. As soon as you commit, I'm going to be here. As Curry is still waiting in that L bin, now he will eventually come back, but no, he's still very curious if there's going to be a flank, and he would be right, but actually the Raze will kind of back off, thinking it might be a double back to the A side with the numbers that are in play. But no, we can see T1 are still committing here very heavily to B side. They're starting to get even more space right now. ZachaREEE and company trying to fight back, but they still are a man behind.
Unfortunately, that op not going to be enough to take down the wall and stop the plant. So the spike does go down. T1 seemed to be in the driver's seat, and it looked like their defaulted ways might net themselves a round win. Although Corey, very healthy, rifle in hand, Walled off though, so really only has one approach.
And I have to
would
say this,
imagine.
Tanner, that's a pretty bold statement from T1 because FaZe got the read. They got the flank off with their raise through A side. They had 4 players ready to defend B, and they still only came up with a couple of kills, and T1 kind of imposed their will on that side of the map. And that time it was without ults. It was just, you know, their base utility and their firepower. So that's big. Like, that's a huge, you know, change in momentum perhaps for T1 to have a round come out like that. That was a very convincing victory. And the money's starting to run low now on the FaZe side of things. Yes, they're at max loss bonus, but they would still have to make some sacrifices next round perhaps if they can't come up with the victory here. So this could be the chance for T1 to knock on the door of a tie situation as we transition sides. But FaZe, again, they have shown time and time again that they had the fragging power to go head-to-head with T1 here, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
Recon Bolt, not going to find anything there, but lack of information is still information.
And see, this makes more sense to me, right? Because the Viper can have presence without having to be there on the B side of the map. So it still lets you have presence and stop people from being able to early rotate while having, again, like the bulk of your forces just working together to take up space on A side, which they are doing very effectively. But again, FaZe are having a pretty big rotation here. 3 on site, Jet not too far away, Omen deep in long B territory, but now T1 are transitioning. It's just the drone leading A side, and everyone else is folding back onto this Omen. That's going to be ZachaREEE. He's going to have to come up big here or get out of there.
Fortunately for ZachaREEE, no sightline caught him out just yet. He is going to get spotted up high, taken down from down low. The B site, it's not free. I believe babybay still having that operator. Holding down over towards Snowman. So the Viper's wall, it definitely gets some respect here. Ooh, he actually sees over the top of it, misses the shot, and Corey finds a kill onto Dazed as the smoke goes up. Marv looking to get aggressive. The kills are being traded back and forth. Finally, one taken off the board from FaZe. Another kill. Onto Dazed in towards mid. The spike has been planted. And again, T1 flirting with that clock and not in the best way, running it down to almost the last seconds. I'm not too sure what FaZe have as far as an answer goes for this. Yeah, babybay definitely doesn't want to start pushing it with the operator. Now with Corey down, almost making another as Rawkus takes some damage. The rifle and an op spider playing out towards yellow. Smokes go down. That's the operator down. Spider to grab another. And hey, when you group up with the team, look what we can get done.
It's also the adaptation. Like, that's the first real fake T1's run this game, right? It's the first time that they've committed a drone and not really followed it up with the actual attack or like the main bulk of their map control play. So they did a great job putting that pressure on A, making FaZe feel comfortable with the heavy defense in place there. The drone comes through. They double back. ZachaREEE gets busted by a great little, I don't know if you call it a bait and switch, but the way that spider kind of boosted up and it allowed Skadoodle to freely peek from down low. Great entry. Then they just capitalized on it. Again, like T1 are shifting through the gears. They're turning the pages of the playbook. They're making changes, and it's working. They're on a 4-round winning streak right now, and FaZe are starting to fold a little bit. Day's a little late on that.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but again, it could quite possibly be another fake, and you get a bit of information.
That drone is just a legend. It's just not dying, bro. It gets a dart. It gets 2 darts off, I think.
And quite a bit of information. Not only spotting out the jet, but knowing the arsenal that is available as the sheriff goes down on site automatic. In the angle, peeking 2 though. Boombot looking to get into the action, and Corey is able to follow it up. That's unfortunate for automatic. Marved actually still has this hero rifle for the team. And there's a showstopper available. So here it is. Corey actually going to pop that one now. There's a kill coming out. That's Marved with the hero rifle. Spider able to trade it back. Showstopper didn't get anything there. Did back him off for a moment. 40 seconds on the clock, but the spike is on the ground.
Yeah, it means that T1 has to commit to laying back on this site with Corey and ZachaREEE in position. Now, ZachaREEE is low on health. He does have the Vandal, but again, he is a pretty quick pick as long as Spider takes his angle correctly here.
Player standing.
And there it is. Spider finds the frag. able to now capture the site. Spike will get planted safe. Curry just making sure that he's not going to get swung around one side. That gives the green light to Spider to jump up. He'll find the kill, and T1 worked that out really well despite, you know, FaZe being able to throw a wrench and things at a couple different points in time in that round. It seemed like they actually had a chance to reel it back in, but dude, Curry has been so on point this game. He's really been like the breadwinner, and now that Spider and Scoodle are kind of more in tandem, they're starting to come alive as well on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're starting to come on, and you mentioned it, saying the adjustments being made. I mean, even more of a round of applause or props for adjustments on the fly. They didn't take a tactical timeout. They didn't. There was nothing to stop it. It was just on the fly. They're down 6-0. They have to figure something out, and they're looking to take the next 6. Now, mixing up the pace quite a bit. It's going to be Spider right behind the drone this time around. Paint shells going to rain down some damage over towards yellow. Unfortunately, not going to find too much. As babybay looks to play off of that one-way smoke. Here comes the showstopper from Skadoodle, but he gets that down out of the sky. It's skate shooting from babybay. He will fall, and the Jets get on the board for 1 kill each. Resurrection comes through. Skadoodle back now to try and help his team out. And there's the Viper's Pit. We saw how this ended the last time. Where is that recon bolt? Is it available for Rawkus? If so, this Viper's Pit gets a whole lot more vulnerable.
Yeah. There's a lot of time left, though, and T1 still have man advantage thanks to the res.
They're rotating.
They picked up an operator as well on Spider. Like you said, they are backing up. Marved using that opportunity to go ahead and get the res on babybay at yellow, but Curry is still floating around the pit. He's able to find 2 big headshots, and as you said, they got the heck out of there. Curry's basically covered for them to rotate to A, which is wide open. It's going to be a 4-on-3 post plan in favor of T1. They have crafted together a nice finishing to this half on the attacking side. They could be getting their 6th round in a row. It all comes down to whether or not FaZe can retake a man down with no ults. Wow, we do still have Hunter's Fury available for days.
And a nice post plant. It gets even better with Skadoodle finding that kill onto Marved. No ultimates available. It's just going to be the gunfights from the last 2 for FaZe. And, I mean, like the inverse, as Automatic finds 1 as they drop on down. Corey now with 33 HP in a 1v3 situation. It's just not long for this world. I can't imagine he gets too much done here, but we can't count him out. The Hunter's Tree is also still available, so if he's going to fake the spike, he's got to do it now. Instead, it's Spider with the operator, and it's T1 against all odds. They battle back for 6 straight. They tie us up at the half, but guys, we got to jump away for a quick second. When we come back, the excitement will continue.
A might doesn't count, buddy. Get out of here with that.
We'll let the chat decide once they catch up as to whether or not you cast or curse them or not. Either way.
No, I mean, if they say it is, they're just misguided. It has to be a definitive statement. I said a might or a maybe. That gives me a get out of jail free card.
Majority rules, we will see. Either way, T1 back in the win column. 7 in a row now as Spider takes a long range duel with the Sheriff in hand and takes quite a bit of damage on the way out, but trades quite a bit of damage. So all is even, all is fair. It's another quick A take and no wall use this time. They're actually going to fake the plant for a second. Marved looking to reposition on that one. FaZe get it down for free. So at the very least, you get some extra credits going into this next round. They've got nice positioning. Again, it is only classics, so we can't really, not too much to write home about here in this one. babybay looks to creep on up, still unspotted. Spots ahead of 1. Dazed with the flick, able to take him down, and now T1 are starting to find the kills, but on the way out,
oh, okay.
Picks up another Rawkus with a ghost, and it's down to the last Skadoodle. Ghost in hand. No real angle for either of these players. Satchel charge to go through. The blast pack, rather. Low on time. FaZe might have just inched this one out. It's not halfway. It's not anywhere. He's just going to try and stick it, and Rawkus picks it up. Back and forth we go. At first, it was 6 for 6. Now it's 1 for 1.
Yeah, that retake was actually looking pretty good for a second there from T1. You could tell they had to kind of play for the retake just based on how quick FaZe attacked, and T1 just weren't really in position to do like the full-on hold, so they do the smart thing and play for the retake, but babybay able to kind of blindside one of the players, and we didn't catch all of it, but this kill from Corey, I feel like, was kind of the X factor. That's the kill that made you really worry. Rawkus able to build off of that, put Skadoodle in such an impossible situation with not being able to get the spike halfway. And so now things have truly shifted. Now T1 are the ones on just the pistols. And the game is right back to square.
It was full rifles across the board for FaZe. So we'll see if T1 can configure the same heroics that we saw FaZe pull out in the last. I'm assuming it to go the other way, but I think
I mean, at least they're in position, T1. They have all 4 on the site, and they already have their Viper flanking, but I think they do have a guy kind of watching out for this here towards the back of A side, so still going to be tough.
On babybay, already picking up 2 here, looking to have themselves around. Marv gonna find the next. Oh, just barely sneaking away was dazed, but he will eventually fall. And now Curry, still hanging out over towards B, has to try and make his way over. 60 health, so not great. Trying to take a fight with Corey here, also not great, and it ends up being a flawless round for FaZe.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think we can breathe a little bit because we've had some really weird rounds. Both of these teams picking up round wins with just pistols.
Yeah.
And now we're getting just rifles. For the most part, Spider's going to have that operator.
Yeah, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. What is he able to do with the operator now that he's on the defense? Now he's able to focus up. Also, Daze is having a quiet game, man. I know that sometimes IGLs have to focus on a lot, and so fragging can't always be, but I hardly ever see Daze struggle this much. Even against top-level teams, he's normally like pretty neutral KD. So if he can wake up a little bit, if Spider can start popping off the op, they could still very much, you know, make this a tough half for FaZe. But FaZe are keeping up that lightning speed pace we're used to, looking to scramble their way into the A site and just go in swinging.
And we haven't really seen it yet. Is that shot gonna go just over the top? Marv crouch walking into the site as babybay picks up a couple of their own. Automatic gets on the board, but now it's all down once more to Curry. A rifle in his hand this time around, so a bit more doable than just having that classic and 60 HP, but still a very tall ask as he peeks away into the corner. Ori will sit him down. And you were talking about the pace in which FaZe is going to attack these sites. The hardest part I feel like about that is it immediately forces a rotation. You have to rotate, and that, I would imagine, somewhere along the lines, if not this series or this game, this map, it's going to bite him in the butt because then FaZe can just rotate out.
Sure. And the other thing is when a team plays at that pace, and if they're on form, it can be overwhelming, man. When they're coming at you at lightning speed and they're hitting their shots, and you have a couple of guys missing, like when Spider missed that op shot, or you have Daze having an off game, it just gets even more punishing. It may sometimes be criticized because it's like kind of simplistic and one-dimensional, but hey, when it works, man. So power to you, as we do see Spider trying to get aggressive, and he's been absolutely busted. And so Spike will go down at B. T1, only 4 players left standing here in a tough spot.
Yeah, that's rough. The quick hits towards A. You see Spider wants to try and match aggression with aggression, and
babybay out there just trying to launch some daggers long range. They're like, come on now, give me a little peek.
1 to the head is all it takes, so I don't blame him for that.
And whack-a-mole over the rail.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
And 3 in reserve, so that right click still pretty strong, because it looks like T1 don't really have a way in. They've got some ultimates, but once more, now on the defending side, running out of time. You don't really have a whole lot to work with. And now you're getting flanked as Daze finds 1. The kills just start to come back right in response. I think, how to say, if you're Daze, I think you just die on the shield there in hopes that the spike takes out 1 from the opposition.
Yeah, so it's going to be FaZe starting to get that lead built back up again. Again, they've had hot starts in both halves. They were up 6-0 first half, and even though they lost pistol in this half, they were able to quickly recover on an eco or kind of force buy, and now they've won 4 in a row. They're, you know, looking towards the finish line. Full buy from T1, but they're not going to get too many more of these if this keeps up. So this is kind of their best chance to hold FaZe off and keep themselves in contention here on Icebox. They do have the operator in Spider's hands. He missed a shot last time around. This time they need him to be on point. We are going to see the aggression once again at A from FaZe. Wall goes up from automatic to try to slow down this attack a bit. But FaZe, of course, they're not a team to let up, are they, Tanner? They're looking to keep on going. They're just going to find a new route, getting on top of pipes.
And typically when they set their sights, they're able to make it onto the site. They did it with A a couple of times. They've done it with B now, and looking to go right back to it. With the aggression, I'm surprised T1, they're just holding it steady here. They're not actually over-rotating, and on the way back, FaZe might actually just get caught out.
I like
Will you-
this. I like how
Yeah.
Spider's just like watching to see if they're going to rotate back through middle. They have their Viper anchoring B site with the Viper's pit up close on long B, so they can position their 3 players to still just kind of hold back A. They don't have to move around too much. They can feel confident in their positions. And so T1, they have a decent defense in place, and Spider could make a quick rotation if need be with the Jet. So it's just all on whether or not FaZe can penetrate this defense and get some trading going their way, as they're not letting up. They're still looking to pounce on A, but time is starting to get critical.
30 seconds. Doodle gonna use that showstopper. Not gonna find anything, and again gets taken down mid-air. That hurts so much. It did get a bit of damage down onto ZachaREEE, but it's not enough, as the Hunter Shuris are gonna be traded back and forth. FaZe actually takes Rawkus down, so you no longer have to worry about that FaZe Hunter's Fury. And there's the spike on the ground.
Man.
The clock is ticking down as well, and it's all up to Spider. The spike to be planted in a 1v3. T1 haven't picked up a round here in the second half since the pistol. Got an operator in hand, but the whole choice of weapons down on the site should he drop in, and instead he is going to opt to save. And I would imagine we see FaZe go on the hunt here.
I mean, T1 were trying their damnedest to kill the clock by using the showstopper, by using the Hunter's Fury. They were trying to stall out FaZe, who had kind of had to wait until like the last 35 seconds or so to actually fully start committing to the end game of that round. And, you know, like you said, Daze was able to get a kill on Rawkus. Automatic actually shut down their initial res. And so it looked like things were going T1's way, but FaZe able to kind of hold their nerve, find a way to grind their way back in after a couple of things went against them. And then they ultimately wind up getting like a plant with just about a second to spare. And then they hold off in the post. So that is going to be an 11th round for FaZe. They are very close now to map point. With that saved operator, T1 still able to put together a mostly full buy here. It's just automatic, a little bit short on armor. And this is last chance saloon for T1. They have bought down to their bottom dollar. Even with max loss bonus, they will have slim pickings in the next round if this doesn't work out.
I'm gonna be keeping my eye on the resurrection from automatic and see what he can get done. Hopefully a priority target, as if there was ever a time to start coming back online, it's right now. You're not necessarily staring at losing the map. It's only map point in the next loss. So T1 really need to start to turn it on. And then for FaZe, they've got themselves a showstopper, which has proved to be a very potent tool for both of these teams in multiple occasions.
Right.
It's all the way on the other side of the map, though. Ooh, okay. Something a little different here as they push on through. Oh, no, the snake bite is going to make the vulnerability come through, and Daze does so much damage. Able to find the wall bang onto the spike plant. So for now, FaZe find themselves on the back foot. Resurrection not needed just yet. Meanwhile, Corey has made his way all the way through.
Yep.
This is the spider approach that we saw from T1 in the first half.
Yeah, this is big. He's going to be able to make sure that they're going to be able to get this spike over. Now, actually, they're taking some battles over at middle, so they're getting bogged down and trying to make this transition. A huge catch from Curry onto babybay. The numbers are dwindling, but Corey, again, great position here up close, able to pull out the showstopper, try to hold T1.
No way.
Oh, I thought he was getting more than that, but it's still, that's going to be a good one, but at least a res comes in, and T1 still had the numbers.
I thought a triple kill
I did
in
too.
the works there. Unfortunately, only good for one that immediately gets resurrected, but there it is. He answers back with another. Spider able to trade it with the operator. ZachaREEE has the angle, but Dazed has the kill, and now we find ourselves in a 1v1. Match point on the horizon here for FaZe. Should Rawkus find this kill? He's got the off angle. He's got the headshot. To 12 rounds we go.
Oh boy, that was a crazy round. I thought T1 were actually doing some great things, shutting down the plan at B. Curry catching that mid-rotation, but then Corey just able to pop off with the territory he had gained towards screens. Gets 2 big kills. This first one, then the showstopper frag. It did get res, but still an even number situation, even with the res. And he almost got some more, man. Like you said, I thought that was going to be even more. But again, Corey just big hat trick round. Now they're at map points. And T1, their funds are pretty low. As you can see, they're having to go Spectres just to make sure they can get full armor and abilities. And so, yeah, FaZe are very much looking like they're in cruise control for victory at this point. T1 have yet to win a round since pistol defensively, and they will take a tactical pause to talk this over. And I mean, definitely a good time to choose to do so because this is it. And I mean, they're gonna have to come up with something crafty. If you're playing with just Spectres, playing standard is gonna be really tough to be successful with.
And very far away from really anything that helps outside of that Hunter's Fury. But even then, there's, you know, you probably would wish you had another ult. Maybe the knives available for Spider with full armor or something. It feels so oppressive right now with the way that FaZe have been playing. And then, what was it? It was 7 in a row, which was nice, but it was just the pistol on defense. So T1 been struggling ever since then. This tactical pause, I feel maybe a little late because you don't have a whole lot left if this round goes by the wayside. But I mean, hey, if you got it, use it, and we'll see what they can get done with it. Oh, it's daunting. 6 in a row for FaZe.
Yeah. FaZe, again, they've just been relentless with this aggressive play style. And again, when you're on point, your aim is good, you're winning your fights, it's a very effective style to play. As they're going to quickly work up under tube, a nice wall, a nice boost by Core to get on top of tube. Again, they're keeping up the pace, but they're kind of changing up a little bit with their routing. And they're getting some good trades with Automatic able to fight that one back.
And quite possibly a weapon upgrade should he find that he's safe enough to pick that one up. Corey able to drop down, play through tube. Says the rest of his team did. He's going to take that fight, but Automatic with that weapon upgrade is able to find the kill onto Corey and FaZe. Now on the back foot, 2 ultimates available. Rawkus has that Hunter's Fury and is able to get a bit of damage with the shock dart onto Daze. Is going to send another one out. You spend too much time over towards this yellow B-long position, and surely they're going to be corralled.
This is kind of one of those ones where I wish the drone dart did 1 damage.
Right.
Imagine. Because like in Counter-Strike, we had the flashbang frag if they had 1 health, which is kind of funny. But imagine a dart. Just boop, up, you're done. I'm sure a dart would take 1 health in real life, right? Like, surely. That's gonna hurt a little bit. Dart it. As Automatic's just had around, bro. Like, he has really been just the man. But
1
oh, ZachaREEE able to get the kill on the Automatic. He, like you said, with 1 HP, still wins the fight, able to get the spike over to A side, and we'll get to plant. But defending the retake with 1 health, surely not, right? Right?
There is no way this happens right here. 1 health, full HP on Skadoodle. Sure, Dazed is hurt a little bit from a shock dart earlier in the round.
I can't imagine he wins. It would be unreal if he did.
Absolutely unreal. You see him pinging out the spike as well, so he can play up towards heaven and look to wallbang into Nest. And now has the information that they're coming from the opposite side.
Oh
no, the dart spots him.
This
can use that shroud stack to get away. He's got the angle, but he gets spotted out. ZachaREEE, we saw what you were doing, buddy. Unfortunately, it doesn't close out the game, but T1 staying for a bit longer.
Yeah, it seemed like the chances that shotted step were going to be successful was like real low. Like there would have had to be like a complete lapse of paying attention for T1 for him to pull that one off. And you can't blame him. He had 1 health, bro. There's not a whole lot he could do there. The fact that he got it to that point was actually pretty impressive. But again, I think Automatic just had such a big round shutting down the under tube push. Had one. I think he got 3 kills on that round. He's had, you know, kind of a quiet game overall. Really, most of them have, except for Curry. So to see them start waking up a little bit, certainly good news if you're a T1 fan. But again, FaZe is still very much in control of this game. They're not sweating that one too much. They still have a little bit of cushion to work with.
And it's unfortunate that Curry has had such a good game because he's been playing on, you know, the wrong side for the entire game. As babybay makes an aggressive play, tries to go good again with the knives. Not going to get it this time around, but 3 for 2 we go. And T1 on the back foot. Automatic. Use that heal orb on himself as the spike looks to get planted, just buying a bit of time. Corey can use that one. No, I think it's Corey to use it to get the showstopper here. So FaZe have so much in their arsenal to try and close this one out. And ZachaREEE, quite a bit prettier here. Not on that 1 HP. Through the smoke, 1 kill comes through. There comes. Ooh, the resurrection's actually available. But no, the showstopper on the way out. Automatic will